So this research looked at people's brains while they were facing an unpleasant math problem. Now, I remember reading this research when it first came out, and I really didn't connect it to procrastination. I thought it was more about math anxiety. But Barbara Oakley, in her great Coursera MOOC on learning how to learn, points out that how our brain responds to this unpleasant task has a lot to do with procrastination. And later, when I read Timothy Pitchell's book on solving the procrastination puzzle, which is also a great book, I realized that his results backed up what Barbara Oakley was saying. And so in this research, the researchers, they did an experiment where they had people think about doing a math problem. So they didn't actually do the math problem, they were just thinking about it. And while they were thinking about it, they were hooked up to a brain scanner. And what the scientists found is that just by thinking about an unpleasant task, the pain centers of our brains are activated. So in other words, our brain doesn't really distinguish between physical pain, the kind of pain we feel when we stub our toe or bang our head into a cabinet or something, and psychological or emotional pain, the pain of thinking about doing something unpleasant. The key finding of the research, though, is what happened when they had the people actually do the math problem. And what they found is when the people actually did the math problem, the pain centers of the brain were deactivated. So what this has to do with procrastination is when we think about doing an unpleasant task, the pain centers of our brain get activated. And the first thing that the brain wants to do when facing pain is to stop the pain. So that means we avoid doing the task and we avoid even thinking about the task. And that leads to procrastination, which is exactly what we want to avoid. And the best way to avoid that is to actually start doing that unpleasant task, because when we do that unpleasant task, the pain centers are deactivated and our brains are happy and we're happier. And this is backed up by a lot of other research that I'm going to talk about. But the important thing is to actually start the task. So it's like that old cliche, you have to face your fear. And when we face our fear and do the unpleasant task, it helps us overcome procrastination.